Hello everybody, welcome back to another Mortal Jellyfish video. Now in today's video, this is kind of our follow-up to the Reaper versus Trinity video. Even though I did rank Trinity superior over Reaper in the terms of just lifestealing and overall my preference of style of the kit, I still want to retouch and do that video that a lot of people have requested, which is should you still buy the Reaper kit? Obviously the nerf that hit him, the two nerfs that have hit him, making him where he can't mine blocks and reducing his healing down to 18 per soul, are two very big nerfs, and I think this video is very viable to be making and re-talking about and revisiting whether or not Reaper is still a viable kit, or if you're better off moving into something else. That said, we're going to move into some gameplay. We're going to talk about some brief pros and cons. We're not going to drive too deep in depth about the pros and cons because we all know how Reaper works. But this video will more focus on whether I still think it's worth having or not, because obviously Reaper's still going to function the same, so we don't need to talk about it quite as much as we normally do. That said, let's get some Reaper gameplay going, and let's talk about this. Alright, we got some Reaper gameplay rolling in the background here to keep you entertained, and let's move into those pros and cons. So, because like I said earlier, we don't need to talk about as many different pros and cons as Reaper, as I think it's been out long enough and a lot of people are fairly pretty known with how the kit works. But I do got some pros and cons here relating to mainly about the nerfs and buffs and stuff, but anyways, we're going to get into that. We're going to move into the three pros right here. So the first pro is heals 18 health after consuming a soul. Now this is a much lesser amount than it used to heal, but it is still a pro nonetheless. Healing 18 health after you kill somebody by taking a soul is still a very good pro. You also gain movement speed after consuming a soul, which is our second pro, and then you're going to gain invincibility frames while also consuming a soul. Now all this movement speed, invincibility, and healing happens in like 2.5 seconds, I think it is, if my brain is remembering correctly. So yeah, I mean, movement speed is a pretty solid buff. I mean, I gotta get into Baker to try the real movement speed. Jade has a different style movement speed, but you know, you can jump things. But either way, as we know, very much is true that movement speed is very powerful. Now you only get access to this very powerful movement speed after getting a soul, which can be a little rough, but. And then invincibility. Nothing else in the game really has invincibility built in like this, except Reaper. And it's not, I guess it's not really invincibility, it's more so just you can't engage in combat. You can't fight nobody, nobody can fight you while you're consuming a soul. So yeah, I mean, it also has like an invincibility frames where basically you're immune to everything, which is super unique to the class. Or kit, sorry. I don't know why I like to call them classes. But anyways, let's move into the cons here. And then after the cons, we'll move into the should you still buy portion of this video. So the cons of this kit is you can't do anything while you're immune. Now I think this is a pretty obvious one. When you're immune, you can't mine beds anymore. You can't fight people. You can't really do anything. You basically either choose to sit on top of your enemy, immune while healing. You choose to run away. Maybe you consume the soul and you're like, I'm gonna rush down this bridge so I can get to this bow camper. Or whatever, you know? So basically with your immunity, you basically can't do nothing. You gotta pick, basically when you're in immune, you basically just pick a movement play. Either pick to rush, stay around, or run. Those are about your only three choices you can make with the immunity speed boost, as it's not a very long window. That said, our second con here is you need to kill to gain anything. So one of the biggest things why Trinity feels better than Reaper in my opinion, and just one of the worst things about Reaper, is that he needs to kill people. He does not gain a single thing until he kills somebody. He literally has no bonuses, nothing. Doesn't get no perks whatsoever until somebody dies and leaves a soul on the ground, and then he can consume that soul, and that's when he gains all those perks. So he's 100% reliant on getting kills, and if he does not get kills, well, then it's kind of worthless to have the kit on, isn't it? And that's going to be into the third con here, and that the heals feel rather weak. Now this is going to move us into where the should you buy part, because it's going to become opinionated off this last con here, and the heals feel pretty weak. So since they nerfed his heal, they took it from 18, well, from 30 down to 18. That's a reduction of 12 healing. Now, in most cases when I was Reaper healing, you know, you kill a guy, heal, that'd be 30 health, and then you kill another guy, heal, and that'd be another 30 health. And so we gotta imagine every time you're healing, you're losing an extra 12 health. And to be fair, I mean, once you're in iron armor or something, or like, yeah, basically once you're in like leather or iron, I'd say leather with like prot 1, you're gonna start taking that like 12-8 damage a hit in that area. And when you're taking 12-8 damage a hit, not gaining that extra 12 health off a soul is an entire hit you're missing. So every soul you absorb now, you're basically would have back in the day, you would have been given an extra hit. Now you're only gaining like 1, where it used to be like 2 because it was 30. Now it's 18. That's like 1 or 2 hits. And it used to be like 2 or 3 hits you gained from getting a soul, which is what made it so potent and so disgusting, is the fact that you were healing 2 or 3 hits every time you killed somebody. So if you clearly outgeared them with like a diamond sword and iron armor, and they were in like no armor, and you're 3-shotting people, boom, boom, 35, 35, 35, and you're killing them, and you're eating a soul, more than likely they traded 3 hits with you and you healed all your health back. So that said, the healing does feel rather weak now, and I think there's just no way around that, as the kit used to be very heavy healing, and I think a lot of us who played it and liked it grew accustomed to that. In the new healing, a lot of the time, even after like eating double souls after a fight to get ready for the next fight, I find myself still rather weak. Like, I'll be in a fight fighting 2 people, I'll kill them both, and then I'll heal, eat both of their souls, and I'll go back to get in the fight, and I only have like 40 HP, so it's like I can't even fight again. So my only other option is to get out of the fight and run. So I catch myself now with playing Reaper, I do a lot more get a kill and run. I can't just stay in the fight and fight everybody that I want to. That said, though, the kit is very solid at getting in, killing people, and getting back out alive. So say you killed somebody and they dropped good loot, and you eat their soul, you got that movement speed and invincibility to get out of the fight, and then more than likely you're gonna be able to get away. So the kit is still good in the sense that you can kill people and get out of the fight if there's like multiple of them. And so that's pretty solid thing to have as a kit. I mean, things like Bounty Hunter, you know, you get in there with the and you get the loot, and then it's like you got to get out with that loot, and that's a hard part to do. Reapers can just get in and out real easy. Trinity, that's the biggest downfall to Trinity, where I think Reaper is a bit better. Trinity, when you engage in a fight, you're in that fight till it's over, or until you like can build your way out, which typically leads to you fight until you die. For the most part, at least for me, that's what I do. It just makes more sense to just stay and fight than try and run, because running typically doesn't go too well half the time, unless you got like balloons or a pearl, or if ping is on your side, you can build up. But Reaper basically has a guaranteed exit of a fight if he gets a soul, which cannot be slept on. That is actually a pretty solid thing to have. Although, yeah, so now that we've talked about all that, I guess all we can really talk about is the ultimate decision whether I think it's worth buying or not. Now, like I said, I do prefer the Trinity kit a bit more, just because when I play a life-stealing or healing kit like that, my whole goal is I just want to sit in there and fight people over and over and over and over and over and over. I don't want to have to run away and be a pansy, so for me, I like Trinity Void Form a bit better than this, but I mean, it's not bad either. It's still pretty decent. It's not good. I think if you want something to get in and out of fights with some life healing on it, Reaper's a good kit for that, because that's where more of the niche it fits now. Instead of being like this monster who just healed every time he killed somebody a ton, it's more so like an assassin. You get in, you kill somebody, and you get out with whatever they had. And so for that, I do think it's still worth a buy if you want more of that niche role of like, I'm going to get in, kill this guy who I know has been sitting on his generator way too long, and then I'm going to eat his soul and get out of here with his 200-300 iron that he's built up. So yeah, I still think Reaper is pretty viable. I think it's definitely something that you should still consider maybe buying if you are looking at it, because it's not like the kit's become completely terrible. It has lost 2 of the most favorable things about it, but it's not a bad kit. I mean, that just shows right there, though, how good Reaper kit was, that even after 2 hefty nerfs, that I still think it's pretty viable. And on that note, guys, that's all I got for today's video. So on that note, we're going to head over to thanking our members, and then we're going to wrap up this video. So thank you, Insolence Axolotl, for being a member of the channel. Thank you, Redwood Deadwood, for being a member, and thank you, Mama Peace, for being a member to the channel as well. It really does help out a ton, and the support is nice to see from people. So yeah, thanks to those 3 for showing that extra support to the channel. And on that note, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.